Alright, we rolling. Well, welcome to Win Souls TV. This is your host, Bright Evangelist. I'm trying to get a little bit more professional. You know what I'm saying? Since it's my third video. Intro is on the way. And then later on down the road, you know, I could possibly have some merch for you guys. But anyway, just to touch base on the last video, beginning your relationship with God after living in the world, I mentioned starting to read a Bible reading plan. Now, first of all, my YouTube channel ain't that big yet, so I am not promoting anybody else but God, but I will definitely say that this Bible reading plan is on point. You can get it off Amazon. It's only like $2. So I would recommend, you know, getting your hands on one of these, or, you know, just literally reading a chapter of the Bible every day. You know, so like Genesis 1 or Genesis 2, you know, just every day, and allow that word to consecrate you and provide the opportunity for your growth and discipleship. Notice I'm not talking about being a follower of Christ, but I'm talking about being a true disciple, because there's a big difference. And I'll touch base on that in a different video. Now, so the topic of this video has everything to do with forgiveness. I talked about in the last video, I went through some traumatizing situations when I was younger. Maybe from like 5 years old all the way up until like middle school, I was being molested, right? So to the point that I was really enjoying it. So how am I so joyful? How am I able to move on past that? So the very thing that you need to do, and that I had to come to the conclusion of, because I was just so angry all the time. I was being manipulated by specific people in my life, and taken advantage of by you know, just very manipulative people in my life. I was being bullied at one time in my life. So all of that stuff led to me being very angry, and when I hit 18 years old, I lashed out on a lot of different people. And one of my targets, notice I'm using the word target because literally they were targets. Either I saw you as a target, or I saw you as someone that I didn't allow to necessarily get close enough to me, because only the people that are close to you, only they can hurt you, you see? And so I didn't want that to happen. So I never really let people get close to me. So moving on, the Lord has taught me a model of forgiveness. Now, a lot of people use different models of forgiveness, but one of the things that I've noticed that a lot of pastors and ministers aren't talking about is, yeah, they tell you to forgive, and the word tells you to forgive, but how do you forgive? You see what I'm saying? And he taught me a 3-step process that has literally worked for me. And the more that you do it, the more that you practice it, just like everything, it becomes almost second nature. It becomes really, really fast. So what he taught me about forgiveness, one thing is that he taught me that forgiveness is full circle. So one of the very first things that you want to do is ask the Lord to remind you of everything in your past and every person of your past that you need to forgive. And then that you write a list of just those people. And even if you bring somebody to your mind and you don't necessarily have resentful thoughts, but you get just a little bit angry, and in the past you've cut that person out of your life, go ahead and write them on the list anyway. And so the first step, after you've written out your list, the Lord taught me that you have to forgive in your heart. And so with that, how do you do that? So the very first thing is that literally embrace everything that person has done. You think about every little situation and you vividly think about it. Embrace every single moment. And if that person isn't living anymore and you need like a visual in order to take your frustrations out or anger out on, literally sit in front of a chair and lash out on the chair. I know that this sounds absolutely asinine, but it works. Embrace that moment. Embrace all of the moments, whether it's molestation, whether it is rape, whether this, that, and the other. It does not matter. This process works. It just has to, you have to continue doing it. So you embrace it first. And you say the things that you really wanted to say. Whether you are being hateful at the moment, whether you are angry at the moment, whether you're being resentful at the moment, it does not matter. Embrace those feelings and emotions. And you literally, at the end of it, after you've let it all out, you say, I forgive you. And I know that sounds stupid. But after a while of practicing that, what will happen is one day you will get up and you will walk away after saying, I forgive you. Whether that's in your mind or verbally, like I'm talking right now. And you are going to feel, it feels like, and this is a spiritual experience, so I can't gauge how long it's going to take for this to happen. But what's going to happen is it feels like a spiritual weight is being taken off of you. And you'll know it. You'll know it. And then how you can also tell is when you think about that person again, it's like you think about what happened, but it's just like, you know what? I don't necessarily hold that against that person. Now, I'm not saying that you go out and try and make friends with them after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But forgiveness is on you. That's on you. The Lord has told all of us to forgive. So there's no reason for us not to forgive. And you forgive that person however many times. You know, if you do choose to talk back, go back to them or incorporate them back into your life. It does not matter. Always, always, always forgive. And then step number 2, after you feel that weight fall off of you spiritually, you will feel it. I promise you will feel it. After that, the second step, and then this is where most people stop. This is where most people stop. Because this step takes a lot of humility. The person who has hurt you will never ever, majority of the time, 99.5% of the time, will never come to you and ask you to forgive them. Because they know that they did wrong, and it takes humility in order to come to that person and ask them to forgive you. Because it feels like you're submitting to them, which is the case. So that second step is you, after you've forgiven them, you go to them and you ask them to forgive you. And this sounds absolutely stupid because it's just like, man, they did this to me. Like, why would I ever ask them to forgive me? Well, the thing is, all of that time that you were harboring those thoughts in your mind, you were being resentful toward them. You were being angry toward them. And honestly, in your thoughts and even verbally, every time you spoke about them, and if it was negative, you were cursing that individual. You were cursing them every single time you said something negative. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. So every single time you were speaking and saying negative things about that person, you were cursing them without even knowing it. Right? And there's a lot that goes on spiritually, and I'm gonna grow this channel step by step. But these are the foundational things that I need, that you guys need to understand before we can go further, right? So this is where the Lord is leading me. So that's step number 2. Ask them to forgive you. And regardless, now a lot of times, now be prepared for this, because this is where Satan will attack. Because it takes humility in order to come to that person. You have to submit yourself in order to go, right? And be prepared for this, because Satan, and he has tried this on me, Satan will sometimes move in people. And what they will say is just like, oh, I'm not going to forgive you, and this, that, and the other. You know what? That's okay. That is perfectly fine. That is okay. And why is it okay? Because now you were providing the opportunity for them to be set free. They didn't want to embrace that. That is on them now. You are already free from the forgiveness that you have already embraced, and moving out of that obedience and humility. You see? And openness, honesty, and vulnerability at that time period. Right? That is how the power of God works. And if they want to hold that against you and they want to attack you with that, you just smile and you say, hey, you know what? Thank you so much. And if they argue and yelling on the phone, it's okay. Hey, be blessed. I love you, but I'm not gonna embrace these negative emotions or these negative words. You cursing me, this, that, and the other. I love you. You be blessed, and that's it. That's all you have to do. That's step number 2, right? Leave it alone. And if they embrace it, so be it. Thank the Lord. Rejoice, because now they have the opportunity to be set free. And once again, like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to involve them in your life anymore. But at that time period, you are breaking chains that or loopholes that the enemy can use to commandeer both of you guys' lives from moving out of that disobedience, right? Of not forgiving. So the third step and final step is to ask the Lord to forgive you both, and to move and surround you both, to breathe on you both, and to create the opportunity for you guys to have the prosperous life that is ordered and ordained for you if you are Christians. You see, and that's the main thing. You want to create the opportunity for not only yourself to be set free, but for them to be set free as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. You guys be blessed. Once again, this is your Bright Evangelist. And there will be a lot more videos to come. I'm kind of learning how to do all of the editing and all of the, TV, stuff coming up on the videos and flipping and do all of this stuff. So stay tuned because all of that is coming, and I'm going to grow this channel and just do whatever the Lord tells me to do. Y'all be blessed and have a good day.